Hey guys, Chef Jason Hill here, and today I'm going to prepare a scallop stacked potato dish, and it's a nice alternative to your mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving dinner. So let's get started. For this recipe, I like to use the white or Yukon Gold potato. First, you're going to want to square it up. And you want them as thin as possible and as even as possible. And you're going to continue doing this with the rest of the potatoes. I'm doing about 8 of them. After you slice up your potatoes, you're going to add them to a bowl of heavy cream. I've got a quart here, which has been seasoned with 2 tablespoons of my garlic-shallot puree. Or you can just do a whole head of garlic that's crushed. I like to add each slice to the cream one at a time. That way you know both sides are getting coated. Okay, now that our potatoes have been soaking, it's time to layer them. This is the fun part. We're going to take our slices and lay them flat on the bottom. You'll want to overlap them just a little bit. If you don't have parchment paper, you can use foil, and you'll just want to put a little melted butter on your foil before you begin. Before we start our next layer, we're going to season with some melted butter, a little bit of thyme leaves, fresh thyme. If you have dried, you can use dried. I like to use shredded Parmesan, just a little pinch of salt, and some fresh cracked pepper. And that's our first base layer. And you'll want to continue doing this until you have your stack all the way to the top. All right, now we're just going to fold the paper over the top of the potatoes. And then I'm going to seal this up with some foil. And you're going to have enough for 2 of these with 8 potatoes. Next, you're going to take an oven-proof brick, set it on top of it. You want something to weight it down. And if you have dysfunctional family Thanksgiving dinners, hide the bricks before your company arrives. You don't want anybody throwing these at each other. And we're going to place this into the oven, 375 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour and a half. And here's a tip. I put this on my top shelf, and I like to put a pan underneath it because it will bubble over, and it'll help keep your oven clean. Okay, after I carefully removed it from the oven, I'm going to set it on my counter and let it rest here for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to place the whole thing into the refrigerator for at least 4 hours, but I usually do it overnight. Well, I've kept this in the refrigerator overnight, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the bricks, and I'm going to open it up. I just peel the paper back as best I can, and I'm just going to turn it upside down on my cutting board. Now, I like to cut these into roughly about 2-inch squares, and I'll just go down the middle lengthwise with my sharp knife. I'm going to cut it in half crossways, and then in half again on each side. And there you have our wonderful potato stack. Okay, let me show you something real quick. Some of you might be thinking, that doesn't look like a lot of food for a side dish, but it's so dense. I'll put it on my little scale here, and each piece is going to be about 4 ounces, which is a good side serving. But if you're like me, you're going to want to eat probably 2 of these guys. All right, here's our final step. Let's give these guys a nice golden crust. Got my large saute pan here, preheating on a medium-high heat. Let's get that oil all around. Now I'm going to carefully add our potatoes. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. I just do about 4 at a time. Gives you room to turn and work with them. Now, if you want to, you can just do the top and bottom. That's kind of nice. You have a little contrast. You got the nice golden brown top, and then the regular potato color there. And just kind of be gentle with them. They're pretty sturdy after being compacted in the refrigerator for a whole day. All right, I'm going to use my little spatula because if they start to soften up on you, chances are they might come apart when you grab them with the tongs. Diced chives. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoy this recipe. And I've got the rest of your meal covered, believe it or not. How awesome is this? My other YouTube partner friends, we've teamed up and we've got your whole meal covered. Click on their links below and you're going to have the best Thanksgiving meal you've had in a long time. And this is the first time we've ever done this on YouTube. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tubing in. Oh, delicious, so rich.